What's going on, you guys? James here, and yes, today we're talking all about what I've been watching during quarantine, but more importantly, what you, the real friends, have been diving into during this weird period of being stuck inside. Now, on the Real James Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel, I went ahead and asked you guys simply, what are you watching during quarantine? And you all came flooding in with replies, and I'm so thankful for your engagement, and I really appreciate you just telling me what you've been enjoying during quarantine. I'm excited to read off some of those titles and the titles I've, appropriately categorized: honorable mentions, duds, good to great, and even gems during quarantine. Now, before I dive into all that, guys, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I talk about movies, TV, and yeah, I review them and react to them. So if you don't want to miss out on anything just like this, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. Now, don't forget to go ahead and tap on that bell as well, because it keeps you notified with anything new just like this. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, because it does a ton to help out this video. And go ahead and get loud in the comments below. Let me know what you've been watching during quarantine. I want to hear your list. I want to know what maybe some titles are that you don't like and some titles that you do like. So go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, we're gonna get started. So like I said, I'm grouping up some of my titles that I've watched during quarantine in the honorable mentions category, the duds, and even the gems category. So what we're gonna do is start with my honorable mentions. Leading the list there is The Old Guard on Netflix. I have been going back and forth on this movie the entire quarantine, well, at least the entire time that it's dropped, and Netflix thankfully gave me a screener of it early, and I had time to digest it before it got to the general audience. And honestly, guys, I think I like the premise a little bit more than I did when I watched the movie, but I actually dislike more of the things outside of that surrounding the story even more. I mean, the villain is just not very convincing. Yes, it's Dudley from Harry Potter. Charlize Theron and Kiki Lane are awesome, but everyone else seemed to be just kind of there, and it was a little generic, but I still think it's promising, and I would definitely sign up for a sequel if Netflix puts it out, which it looks like they might, because man, people are watching the heck out of The Old Guard on Netflix. The next honorable mention is 7500, the thriller starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's his return to the big screen, or now I guess you could say the small screen, because it's on demand in such a long time. It's on Prime Video, and it's one of those movies that has a good leading man that gets you in your seat for the film, but outside of that, again, it has just got some flaws that kind of hold it back from being in that good to great category. But I really do think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt gives a great performance, and there are moments in the movie where I was really holding my breath, so it's worth a watch. And I mean, the runtime is short, so it's sweet, and yeah, you're definitely going to be tied into the film because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And hey, if this is the start of him being in big movies, I mean, we just saw him in that trailer for the new Netflix superhero movie starring Jamie Foxx, I'm with it. The next title is A Whisker Away, which had to be an honorable mention. It's produced by Studio Colorido, distributed by Netflix, and oh man, the movie is stunning. It is beautiful. All the visuals really play so nicely with the tones of the film, and I love the direction here. Now, it's, I think, the writing that kind of gets in the way of that vision a little bit, and sometimes it gets a little overly dramatic, and I don't necessarily think it sticks the landing at the end all the way. But A Whisker Away is one of those films that's gonna make you kind of scratch your head at why we're following this main character, and then eventually the layers of this character unravel, and you start to get to know who this character is. And I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would say that there are certain elements here that's going to make you look back and reflect on your own self, and it is a story about compassion and empathy. So I did enjoy A Whisker Away for what it was worth, and that's why it definitely falls into the honorable mention category. Now, I was really looking forward to this next title, and not only because it was a Netflix interactive movie, but because Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is one of those series that really just spoke to me and my girlfriend. We love this show so much, and Kimmy vs. the Reverend is the interactive movie on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you probably should if you're a Kimmy Schmidt fan. If you're not, you're going to be lost, and the humor might definitely be lost on you. But Kimmy vs. the Reverend was okay. And now the last title here was a tough one. I didn't know which one to put in the slot, but I would have to say Sella and the Spades. It's one of those movies where you probably missed it. It's not gonna be an overly hyped film, but what it does do is provide a platform for some of these younger actors. I mean, Jarrell Jerome is in the movie, and I loved him in Moonlight, and I think that he fits in nicely with everyone else. But the scene stealer here for me was Lovey Simone. She was so good at what she did in this film, and she really embodied the character of Sella so much. So yeah, that movie is definitely not going to go the way you think it's going to go, and that'll either win some audiences over or turn people off. The ending is really out there. But yeah, Sella and the Spades was at least a very unique film in the midst of some things that be a little generic during this weird period of quarantine. Now what I want to do is get into my favorite portion of this video. We'll do two of these sections, guys. Call them community picks. I mean, you guys, like I said earlier, we're just giving me a ton of responses, and I want to start with some of the real friends on YouTube. When I posted the question on the community tab, you guys came in full force. So let's start right at the top with LC, and LC said that they're watching Legend of Korra, and they're going to start The Wire. So hey, let me tell you something about The Wire. Don't spoil anything for yourself. Stick with it through 2 seasons. It's a little slow at the start, but it definitely sticks the landing. I love The Wire. It's one of my top 5 shows all time. Yes, Avatar The Last Airbender is up there. The next real friend is someone who's been so active on the channel. Ombimpe said Control Z Grand Hotel and How to Get Away with Murder. I believe that's what the abbreviation stands for. But he told me Control Z is worth it. So guys, I mean, let's watch it together. I'm going to start diving into that soon, hopefully. The next real friend is Dax. Dax said Die Hard 1, 2, and 3. I remember Die Hard. Man, I was not allowed to watch those movies as a kid. But I found a way. So, yeah, Die Hard's classic action movies. And then we have Kid Havoc saying they've watched Avatar The Last Airbender 20 times and it never gets old. Boy, maybe it's the 21st time where it starts to feel a little predictable, right? You might not know what's coming next. No, but it's the legendary series, guys. You know, I went through the entire thing for the first time with you all, and I'm about to do the same with Legend of Korra, so keep your eyes peeled next week. Then there's Demetrius to Go Johnson, and they said Vikings or Attack on Titan. I need to finish Attack on Titan. I know it's getting into, I think it's final season or something, I'm not sure, but I started it on Hulu, and I never finished it, or was it Netflix? I think it was Netflix, and I just never finished it. Hulu was My Hero Academia, which I definitely need to finish as well. My goodness, a lot of anime coming up, guys, so I'm hopefully going to be able to review that for the channel as well. And then lastly here, Ved, oh man, Ved says Avatar The Last Airbender reactions on YouTube, and then I think this is really cool that they have a Zoom call together, all of his friends, and they just go over different facets of storytelling and movies that they've watched. Man, that is so cool. I hope you and your friends definitely can tune into the channel as well, because I'd love to talk to you guys about movies that are coming out over the course of this year. Now, I can't forget about Instagram. Man, y'all are showing so much love to the Real James Instagram account. Let's start with Elio. He said Queen of the South on Netflix. My boy Mo said Hannibal. And then you have Nico. Oh man, Nico, miss you, buddy. Band of Brothers and Pacific. I need to watch Band of Brothers. I saw the first 2 episodes before I interviewed Dave Frankel, and yeah, I need to get on Band of Brothers. Andrea says Warrior Nut on Netflix. That is so cool. Katie, you and the Allied fam, we love you so much. Said Love Island. We had this conversation off air about Love Island. It sounds so messy, doesn't it? And I'm gonna start watching it because I'm a sucker for Bachelor and reality TV shows. Man, I'm gonna do it. Katie said the latest season of The Flash, Dharma and Greg, and Maniac. That's solid. Y'all are just bringing in some solid picks for community picks. I love it. One of my brothers, Chris, said Avatar The Last Airbender. That is a popular choice, you guys. Gustavo, bro, thanks for coming through. You said Plot Against America. This much I know is true. And Perry Mason, those are HBO series. He's a little partial. He knows why. Alrighty, we'll finish the rest of the community picks in just a little bit, but let's get into the next section of movies and TV that I've watched during quarantine, and that falls under the duds category. These are movies and TV shows that I just could not enjoy. It's not that they weren't, you know, great or good. No, they were bad. I can't even justify it. These are just duds. Let's start off with the Last Airbender movie. Alright, I'm not going to get mad all over again, alright? We're going to move on from that one. Let's get into Tom Hanks' Greyhound. The reason this is a dud is because outside of Tom Hanks and in between the action, it was so boring, it was bland. I did not really care too much for Greyhound, and the CGI was so noticeable, and a lot of this movie basically was just on the ocean, which is fine, and the wartime chatter was cool, but what else? There's nothing else besides what you see on the surface. The character of Tom Hanks should have been explored a little bit more. I just didn't think that this movie gave too much to the viewer, but it was a short movie, so I guess that's what it has going for it. The next dud is Irresistible, one of the worst films of the year. man, I love Jon Stewart. I love Steve Carell, and Rose Byrne is so awesome, but Irresistible is not a good film. It is so vanilla. And I mean that because it's just got such boring writing and everything is just so, I don't know, man, bland. There's nothing about Irresistible that makes it very attractive. It's got nothing to just draw you in. Such a disappointment. Okay, let's move on to The Lovebirds. The reason why this is a dud is not because of the leads. I love the leads. I love Issa Rae, and I do like Kumail Nanjiani, but this movie felt like it was trying to do a lot. And I mean, outside of it just being a comedy, it tried to be a thriller in a sense, and a whodunit murder mystery kind of film. And I didn't really care for a lot of the angles it chose, and some of the decisions that were made in this movie definitely were not the best. I mean, even some of the jokes, you can tell that our leads were just like kind of saying it through their teeth. They didn't feel this movie. It didn't feel natural, and honestly, that first 10 minutes of this film just really turned me off too, with them arguing back and forth. What a mess. Then there's Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga, the longest title of the year, so it has that going for it, but outside of that, man, I would just rather watch, I don't know, American Idol reruns for 2 hours than watch this movie again. It is just so bad, man. I don't think Will Ferrell's got it right now. He needs to find his groove. He needs to get into a role kind of like what Adam Sandler did, I think. That would be great for him, but other than that, ugh. This movie's so bad. Man, Rachel McAdams, I love you so much, but why did you choose this? Even Dan Stevens is so great, and this movie just wastes so much talent. Yeah, Eurovision Song Contest. Ugh. Thumbs down. Ugh. And the next dud is a movie surrounding, again, singing, The High Note. I love Dakota Johnson. Tracee Ellis Ross is amazing. Ice Cube has comedic timing, clearly. But boy, The High Note. Man, it just fell so flat, guys. And that was not a musical pun, I promise. It was just not a good film. It wasn't funny. I mean, none of it was really appealing and was so by the numbers, guys. And oh boy, they tried to throw in a twist, and it definitely fell short of the mark. It's almost like they knew they were running out of gas, and they just threw something at you and figured maybe this will get them back. No, it took me completely out of the film. So The High Note is one of the biggest duds that I've seen during quarantine. Let's move on to Capone. Josh Trank, man, we know him from that Fantastic Four failure, but the thing is he's done good stuff like Chronicle. And then you get Capone, which is Tom Hardy as an aging Al Capone dealing with dementia and all that stuff. It is I don't even know if it's dementia. It could just be something that's attacking his brain, but it is a huge disappointment. I mean, the trailer didn't really sell me, but it was Tom Hardy, and Josh Trank could probably like come up and just say, you know what, I'm gonna show you what I'm made of, and I would love to see his resurgence. But Capone was definitely not it. Oh boy, yeah, not it is how I would describe Capone. I mean, I talked about it in my review, but I didn't want to see Tom Hardy poop his pants. Okay, moving on to All Day and a Night. This is probably the best of the duds, honestly, and that's because I really loved what this film brought to the table initially. I think it just ran a little too long, and the acting really outside of our leads was not very convincing. Man, there's so many moments where I felt like you needed to just trim it, and if you trimmed it, it would have been a cleaner film. And then there's the movie kind of lingering for a while, and it just makes you look at your watch and you're thinking, okay, alrighty, are we almost done? Tap this screen and you have an hour and a half left, and you're thinking that's probably not a good thing, and you're right, it's not. I'm still excited to see what Joe Robert Cole can bring next, and hopefully he'll learn from some of the shortcomings in All Day and the Night. But yeah, it's the best one among all these duds. Alrighty, now we're getting into my good to great category. Now, this is led by some classics that I've seen during quarantine, like Do the Right Thing, Passport to Paris, Raging Bull, I don't know how I missed that one so many years, and then From Russia with Love. Boy, what a good 007 film. Honestly, I'm just so happy that I was able to kind of get into Spike Lee as well, more so than just BlacKkKlansman and Inside Man. Alright, let's move on to Extraction, a film that took me pleasantly by surprise. It is a no-frills action movie with a decent story to boot. Some things don't work all the time, but Sam Hargrave has a great directorial debut under his belt, written by the Russo brothers, starring ya boy, Thor. Just kidding, Chris Hemsworth, but man, he's such a great actor in this one. Yeah, I really like this movie, guys. Then there's Denis Villeneuve's Enemy. Now, let me be honest with y'all. Some of it works. It's good, but I don't think it's great because I did not care for that ending. Nope. The ending I did not care for, but it's the rest of the film that makes up for it because Jake Gyllenhaal is excellent in this performance. And then there's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, mind you, not the theatrical cut, which is horrible, but the Ultimate Edition I felt added enough to make this movie get into the 4-star category. I mean it, guys. It is like a solid 80%. I think that the Ultimate Edition provides more context to certain situations. I didn't even look at my watch the entire time. That's a testament to hopefully what we'll get with the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I am a fan of Ben Affleck as Batman and Henry Cavill as Superman, so I cannot wait to see them again in the Snyder Cut. Okay, let's move on to Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness. Carol Baskin. Oh, Carol Baskin. And Joe Exotic. Boy, if you told me that a TV series about tigers would take over quarantine, I would say you're a liar. But guess what? You're a truther. Yeah, no, Tiger King is fun, but also kind of sad and infuriating. But it's a great documentary, man. And then there's another Disney classic that I missed out on for so many years, The Princess and the Frog. I'm so happy that we're getting a Princess and the Frog themed ride in place of Splash Mountain. It's a welcome addition for me, especially as someone who goes to the parks pretty frequently, and I love this movie. It is beautiful. It looks so good. It's got a great vibe. Tiana's great as a Disney princess. I mean, she's one of the best that we've ever gotten on screen. I wish we got more of her. My only complaint is that, you know, we didn't get enough of her in her human form, I think, in the film, but it is still such a good movie. Okay, so before we get into my final section, the gems category, let's get back into some of you guys, the real friends, and what you said on YouTube on the community tab. Caitlin said she's been rewatching the Avatar: The Last Airbender, and yeah, man, Netflix is so good for giving us Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then there's Lenars that says Avatar: The Last Airbender 5 times. My goodness. Harley Quinn, I've heard good things about that. Maybe I need to dive into that, but yeah, Lenars, you're right on the money. Those are some good picks. And then Botanist Cool, proud of you. Keep up the good work, Botanist Cool. Go follow him if you can, guys. He does some great stuff on Twitch as well. River Song and Doctor Who and Kitchen Nightmares, the UK version. Yeah, Kitchen Nightmares is so fun to watch, but I need to get into Doctor Who, guys. I need to probably get past episode 1. I never finished episode 1. I don't know why. Then there's Coasters Gaming and Stuff. They've been around for a while on the channel, so thank you so much for your support. Yeah, they're thanking God for Netflix, and me too. I'm praising God for all streaming, to be honest with you. They've been watching Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Mandalorian. Yes, guys, listen, The Mandalorian's coming in October. Expect my coverage for that as well. I got to review Season 1. I didn't care for it too much towards the end, but there are some good things in it. So, Coasters, thanks so much for showing your love. And then there's Ryan. They said they're rewatching Death Note. I tried. I couldn't do it. It was just, I don't know, maybe too out there for me. I definitely fell out of it after episode, 2 or 3. Then Jen and Jackie said they're watching the Zac Efron Earth special. I think it's Down to Earth is what it's called. People have been raving about this, and I might need to check this out, if not only for, I guess, staying in the loop of things. I'm going to bounce around here now, guys, but one of my good friends, Amber, who does great work with SuperCon, is on a Korean kick. She said that she's watching a ton of Korean films like The Handmaiden, Burning, and The Wailing, and I need to get up on my Korean movies. She told me that all the ones she recommended to me there were all the ones I need to watch, so boy, it's going to be a very busy next couple of days if I'm going to get into those Korean films, but I'm super excited. And then there's my buddy Michael Migliore. He said he's been catching up on a ton of films and talking about them on his YouTube channel. You'll find that right at the top of the screen. Should get it up there. And then Pedro said Modern Family. My good buddy Johnny, my brother, said Dark and Magic for Humans. So it's really cool just to see you guys really like get involved with Real James and just throw all your picks out there. And I'm just so glad you guys are enjoying some good content this quarantine and hopefully not watching any of the ones I call duds. I mean, unless you really want to, but it's besides the point. Let's get on to the gems. So these are movies and TV shows that I consider to be the best of what I've watched during quarantine. I mean, like things I could go back and rewatch right now or what I'm currently watching. I mean, right at the top of the list is something that is so different, right? We haven't gotten a good sci-fi movie like this on such a low budget from an unknown director, quite like The Vast of Night on Amazon Prime Video. I recommend this 110%. You guys need to watch this movie. It is unreal at, I mean, just being so niche, but like very accessible for so many people. We all know about aliens and we all know about the old time, the 60s. It is so good at being different, yet giving familiar elements to audiences that might not be totally embedded in sci-fi culture. It's such an enjoyable watch. I say nothing else because I'm not spoiling anything else. The next title here is Da 5 Bloods, which is currently my #1 movie of the year. Spike Lee delivered something so beautiful, so poignant, so timely for 2020. I mean, if you haven't seen it already, you need to go watch it. It's one of his best films, if not his best movie. I still think Do the Right Thing is right at the top, but Da 5 Bloods is right behind it. And guys, look, I'm not throwing away my shot with this next choice. Hamilton is so dope, guys. It was my first time watching it. That review smashed. Thank you so much, you guys, for just going and supporting the review. But Hamilton it's a work of art. I mean, Lin-Manuel, how he pulled this off was just crazy amazing. I mean, Daveed Diggs, Philippa Sue, listen, there's so many gems within Hamilton that I cannot wait to see more of, hopefully, as the years go on. Of course, Avatar: The Last Airbender, we went through it for the first time together. It is among my top 3 shows of all time, top 5, because I haven't really ranked my top shows yet. Then Friday Night Lights, which is, listen guys, I really love season 1. I don't necessarily like season 2. Season 3 is good. Season 4 is alright, we getting somewhere. I really love this new direction, and season 5 is where it's at. When Michael B. Jordan and Journey Smollett came up on screen, I was so excited, and yes, they crushed in this one. It was such a good series, man. It gave me a lot of feels, and I did cry. Son of a gun. Insecure is also on my gems list because, guys, HBO Max, I didn't necessarily know what to start with because there was so much HBO content that I have missed out on over the years. But then my good buddy Nick told me, watch Insecure, you're not going to regret it. I did. I love Issa Rae. I love Yvonne Orji. She's such a gem. Amanda Seales is great. I mean, Ilan Noel is awesome. There's so much to say about Insecure, but you just grow to love the characters and you become friends with them as every episode goes on. It's so strong. That Kerry Washington directed episode, by the way, whew, emotional. Then there's The Last Dance, which I released an entire review series on. It was good. As a basketball fan, you'll love it. If you're a Michael Jordan fan, you'll love it even more, but it taught me a lot about him as a superstar and those 90s Bulls. And the last title here, and definitely not the least of them all, is Palm Springs, which is actually my top 5 movies of 2020. Palm Springs is out of this world funny, and it's a great rom-com. I genuinely think it needs to go up for Best Original Screenplay. I love the direction by Max Barbakow, and man, Andy Samberg and Christine Milioti have an insane amount of chemistry on screen that you're going to watch Palm Springs, it's going to wrap you up, and you're going to laugh, and you might cry, but you're going to come away saying, wow, this is one of the best experiences I've had in 2020. So yeah, Palm Springs gets high honors from me, and all those films and TV shows on that gems list are things I recommend you watch if you haven't already. Alrighty guys, so there you have it. That's what I've been watching during quarantine, and I'm so thankful that you, the real friends, chimed in and let me know what you were watching. But hey, if you didn't get around to those questions over the last week, go ahead in the comments below and give me your list. What are you watching? What have you loved? What haven't you loved during quarantine? And let me know if I need to watch something. So throw your recommendations at me, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button as well, and if you haven't already, come along and join me on this journey to 2,000 subscribers by hitting that big red button below and tapping on that bell as well, just to stay up to date with anything new. Guys, I'm dropping my season 2 review for the Umbrella Academy in about a couple weeks, July 27th, so I'm really excited for that, and the Kissing Booth Part 2. I cannot wait to watch that this week for you guys and review it. It's such a blessing to be able to get these screener links early, you guys. Alrighty, well, I'm sure I need to go and hop on some Korean films and some other shows that you have recommended to me, like Control Z. Man, I'm so grateful for you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.